I'm getting used to people telling me I don't consider points of feminism and give credit where it's due. As an MRA, I stand eternally accused of misogyny, and my opposition to feminism is attacked for not acknowledging feminism's valid points. These arguments are usually accompanied by remarks about tone and demeanor, suggestions that I and others like me be more polite. Now, it's no secret that many men's issues run counter to the best interests, or greed, of women in general, if you believe the absolute worst of the people involved. 50-50 shared custody and no child support could be perfectly reasonable to one woman and blasphemy to another. The only difference is motivation. So let's consider feminist talking points for a couple of minutes. Rape is bad and it's an epidemic. Rape, sexual assault, unwanted attention, and male gaze. That is. Women make less money on average across the whole population than men. Sexism is rampant against women, meaning women are judged on their looks still, and the hotties get preferential treatment. Take back the night. Women fear to walk alone at night, and men are responsible. Sexual freedom. Questioning women's sexual behavior is patriarchal. Abortion is a Gaia-given right, but only for women. Men owe us because we say they do. Litany of laws and regulations and social customs that hold men responsible for everything from children's welfare, even those that aren't their own, to unsafe sex, to women's success. That's about all I can come up with, but I'm sure there's more. There might even be major points, but I really couldn't be arsed. As to the rape thing, of course rape will become more prevalent when you increase the radius of the definition. When these grossly inflated statistics are then placed against the conviction rate for rape, even given the ridiculous standards to which men are held for accountability, don't you know, the quality of the charges are so low that very few men are convicted. One can quibble, but seriously, given the political value of this topic, one can assume everyone involved is busting their butts to get convictions as well. Odds are pretty good. It's the low-quality evidence, coupled with no-drop policies, resulting in low conviction rates. The stress on each and every one of those defendants is real, though. The only way one could not care about them is to assume they're each and every one guilty. Women make less money. 70+% of middle managers are female. So if you don't have a degree or a trade, you pretty much work in a female-dominated retail or service industry. The vast majority of retail is woman-centric, ergo there's fewer opportunities for men. Same with the service industry. Waitresses make the cash, everybody knows that, not the busboy, the dishwasher, or the cook. The public sector, well, that's completely dominated by women as well, unless, again, you have a trade or a degree, which leaves dirty and or dangerous work for the men without education or a trade. Even some of those. Who has the worst employment situation again? Take back the night. Okay, you let me know when it's safe to walk alone at night. Until then, I'll continue to be cautious. Sexual freedom would be so great. I wish men had it too. If abortion rights are so sacred to feminists, why exactly do they oppose men having the right to disavow the unborn child, thereby absolving himself of all financial and legal obligations in relation to the child? Aside from a worst-case scenario of feminists wanting the right to force men to finance the babies women will choose to have, without any input from him, mind you, what other motivation can there be? I'm in favor of bringing men's and women's reproductive rights directly in line, and that means legally indistinguishable, not literal, wherever that line may happen to fall. Anywhere from no one can have an abortion to no one can be forced to be or finance a parent. I'm good wherever, seriously. As to the men owe us bit, well, that depends on whether or not you accept patriarchy theory at face value or not. Taking the stance that men oppress women and therefore that women are what women are doing is okay is accepting patriarchy theory at face value, by the way. If you, like me, reject the ridiculous notion that as the unprovable, even unquantifiable bullshit that it is, well, then you see the whole men owe us line for what it is. Sexism in the nastiest sense of the word. Justification for the pillaging of men's goodwill. ego-soothing balm for a guilty conscience. In actual fact, the only time in North America gender has been singled out for attack and dehumanization is now, and by feminists. These same feminists are now focusing on the tone we use in our posts, the offensiveness. They never address the actual arguments. But when they do, when they're forced into it, they say, yeah, you guys really should do something about that. But only when they've got no other false arguments to give. And yet we MRAs are being insensitive and unwelcoming. Never mind that we can't, and haven't been able to for years actually, we can't discuss these things on feminist forums, either real life or virtual, because we're censored out of existence very quickly. They're just empowered to provide a safe and nurturing environment for feminism. We're the real critics. But leaving aside all these things, all these tired arguments that are no less true today than they were 5 years ago, let's drop all that and consider, what would you, as a feminist, have us do? Seriously, shoot. Give me your list of actions that we as a society must take and results that must be achieved before we finally consider some men's rights points without the nitpicky criticisms of language and demeanor. While you're at it, please explain to me how being more polite will achieve results when said tactic has not worked in the past, and especially in light of the success of more extreme actions in garnering attention and public sympathy. And just for good measure, tell me again why I have to rein in my opinion simply to avoid offending someone, since I think political correctness is an equally damaging force similar to and spawn of feminism. I'm willing to hear you out. Be straightforward and honest, and you will be dealt with respect.